friends, today I'll be reading chapter 3 of Maddie, the Playtime Fairy. Goblin Games. They hadn't been playing for very long when Arthur gave an angry yell. "Cheat!" he shouted. "Oh no," said Rachel. "It's starting," said Maddie. "The game's going wrong." The new boys were hitting the hoops with their mallets and kicking the ball with their big feet. "Stop that!" Victoria shouted. "Why are these boys being so naughty?" asked Rachel with a frown. It's almost as if she broke off as one of the boys laughed and tossed his baseball cap into the air. For a brief moment they saw his face. It was green. "Goblins!" Kirsty exclaimed in alarm. The goblins were capering around the crochet lawn in glee. The other children were shouting and complaining, and Lewis and Caroline were trying to calm everyone down. It was chaos. "We've won!" the biggest goblin chanted as he danced around in a circle. "We've won!" He put down his sports bag and did cartwheels all around the lawn. "Nobody has won," said Caroline in an exasperated voice. "We'd better move on to the next event." The biggest goblin stopped doing cartwheels and staggered dizzily towards his gold sports bag. "Not fair," he grumbled. Lewis picked his gold bag. "I think we'll have a hula hoop and stick race around the lake now," he said. "It's bound to be lots of fun, so there should be no more goblins." As Lewis and Caroline led the way to the lake, they exclaimed that a long time ago, children used to play with hoops and sticks all the time. "You have to keep the hoop rolling along the ground by using the stick," said Caroline. "The path goes all the way around the lake. The first team to get all its play around the lake is the winner." There weren't enough hoops and sticks for all players, so Rachel and Kirsty offered to sit the event out. Lewis and Caroline agreed, and Rachel winked at Kirsty. This might give us a chance to find Maddie's tiara," she whispered. "I hope so," Kirsty replied. Lewis put his bag down and showed the children how to keep the hoop moving along by tapping it gently with the stick. Because they weren't taking part, the girls stepped aside. As they looked around, they noticed that the two of the goblins appeared to be having an argument. The biggest goblin was standing almost nose to nose with a short, spotty goblin, frowning and bickering. The spotty goblin pointed to the bag in the arms of the biggest goblin. Then he jabbed his long green finger towards the big bag that Lewis had just picked up. "The goblins seem really worried about the bag," said Kirsty thoughtfully. "I wonder if they mixed up our bag with Lewis's bag. They look almost exactly the same. But why would they be so angry about that?" Rachel wondered aloud. "Unless there's something inside that they didn't want Lewis to see." "Like my tiara!" exclaimed Maddie. The girls stared at each other in alarm. Of course! The goblins must have hidden the tiara in their sports bag, and the biggest goblin had accidentally picked up Lewis's bag instead. Just then, Lewis blew his whistle and the race began. One of the goblins was running along eagerly among the other children, sending his hoop spinning along with the stick. But the biggest goblin and the spotty goblin started to sneak towards Lewis's bag. "Quick!" exclaimed Rachel urgently. "We have to reach that bag before the goblins do." And before Lewis and Caroline unzipped that bag and found the tiara inside, Kirsty added, "they'd probably take it to their lost property office, and we'd never be able to get it back." "What are you going to do?" asked Maddie, her big eyes brimming with worried tears. The girls cast anxious glances at the goblin, who was getting closer and closer to the bag. "I have an idea," said Kirsty. "Let's ask Caroline if we can set out the picnic from the bag. We can get the tiara back and then tell her that the bags got swapped." As the hoop raced round around the lake, Rachel and Kirsty hurried up to the palace steward. "Caroline, may we please help to set up the picnic?" "Of course," said Caroline, her eyes fixed on the race. "Just as soon as sports day is over." The girls looked at each other in panic. By then, it would be too late. This is chapter 4, A Daring Fame. I'll read this in the next video. Bye!